Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I want to talk to you today about a financial aspect that I've thought a lot about. If you like financial videos, I make one every third week. As I'm working on my finances, I give you guys updates, and I make little videos like this of the things that I realize along the way. So if you do like financial videos, go ahead and click subscribe down below. There will also be a link after the video, I believe, to subscribe as well. So today I want to talk to you about something that's actually very controversial, and I'm sure you've heard the phrase, money doesn't equal happiness, and I'm here to tell you that that is bullshit. And I'm sure already everybody's typing their comments telling me how wrong I am, but hear me out, and I agree with you that in some situations, very few, but some situations, it doesn't equal happiness. But let me tell you how I came to this conclusion, and I think you'll agree with me, at least in part. So, when I was in college, I was broke. Most people were broke when they're in college, but I was like way more broke than most people. Not only did I have a lot of student loan debt compared to other people, but I also I didn't have any parent support, and I was putting myself through a very good school, which also meant it was a very expensive school. So I had to work full-time through a lot of college. I had to miss out on some of the aspects. And guys, I apologize if this is glitching up and my camera is doing weird things, because right now it appears to me that I'm completely frozen. So who knows how this video is going to turn out. But anyway, guys, back to the story. I realized one day, as I was sitting on the floor of my apartment in a bad neighborhood, literally sitting on the floor because I didn't have a couch or any kind of chair to sit on. And college gets so stressful. It is for everyone. But I was thinking, man, I'm competing for grades against my peers. And my peers in my classes, they come from wealthy families. A lot of them have a lot of creature comforts. A lot of them, they're able to live off campus and have nice apartments, things like that. And here I am, in a bad neighborhood 4 blocks away from campus, literally sitting on the floor, barely able to afford food. A lot of times I had to study and was starving, and I wanted a chair or a couch or something so bad, and I didn't have any money. I could barely afford to feed myself, and I had to walk to school. I couldn't even afford gas for my car, which I eventually had to get rid of because I couldn't afford it. So my point is, that's where this thinking started, is I was like, oh my god, I would be so happy with a couch. And I eventually did get one. The place that I worked at moved offices. They didn't have room for their couch anymore that was in the lobby, and they gave me that, so I got a free couch. And it made a world of difference. But other things like that would have made a world of difference too, whether it be being able to afford my rent or utilities, not having to not use the heat in the winter so that I could, afford the gas bill. And I know those are extreme examples, but I think that in order to understand that money really does equal happiness, that you have to go to those extremes. I think a lot of those people that are saying money doesn't equal happiness have never really been without money. Maybe they've not had as much as they wanted, but they've not been without money at the very bottom, like I have been. So, fast forward a few years till today, and I apologize for the background. I'm in the process of moving, and I literally just threw everything in my apartment, and that's what's going on back there. But fast forward a few years, and it's still kind of the same way. You go to a job, and maybe you don't like it. Maybe you don't hate your job, like me. I don't hate my job, but I don't love it either. And wouldn't you be so much happier if you didn't have to work that job so that you could, well, in my case, travel? I've never traveled. I want to do that. I also want to have the time to work out a lot more. I mean, when I graduated college, my goal for what I wanted my life to be was to work full-time as a volunteer for Big Brothers Big Sisters and for Habitat for Humanity, and work on myself physically, running, lifting, and personal development. And I do a lot of philanthropy too. That's what I want my full-time position to be. Now, it was pretty unrealistic to expect that right out of college, especially with my student loan debt, but that's a good retirement goal. That's what I can do. And let's be honest here, guys. My thinking about employment is a little bit different than most people's. I'm not working to retire. I'm working for financial independence, which I guess is technically retiring, but it's not going to be at 68 or 70. It's going to be at like 45. So that's where I'm coming from. Now, I will say that there are some things that you can't fix with money. I want to give you an example. I don't really talk about relationships on here, so I'm sure none of you guys know. But for the last 3 or 4 years, I was involved with a girl who had a terminal illness. And on and off, we were dating, but we were good friends and super close the whole time. And that's where I came into the first situation that I ever ran into where I'm like, money can't fix this. But really the aspect of what couldn't be fixed is the times that we fought. Money can't bring her back to me. You know, if she's mad at me or whatever. But then I even got to thinking about that, and I was like, well, it could certainly help, though. Not to say that she's like a gold digger, because she's not, but thinking about it, I was like, well, what if I'm really messed up from the relationship? If I could afford to go to a counselor, sort out my thoughts. Or what if I could afford to take some time off work so I could deal with the stress? Or what if I could afford to, maybe so I don't feel bad about myself, maybe join a gym, go to a personal trainer. There were sort of peripheral ways that maybe money wouldn't get her back, but it would help me, and that would therefore help me attract her back, things like that. And then I also found out, obviously I can't make her better. I would love to. We don't even talk anymore, but I'm not a hateful person. Like, if I could do anything that would make her healthy, I would. But again, most people are like, well, that's one of those things money can't buy. That's not really true. There's a good chance money can buy that, and therefore you'll be happy. One thing I found is that donating to charity makes me very happy. I don't have a lot of money, but I do tithe my fraternity every month. If it were something like that, like an illness of a friend, I would try to donate to them. Or I've had a fundraiser in the past for people, or whether it's to create a scholarship fund, whatever. That's something that I can do that can help people. But as far as money goes and making somebody better who's sick, absolutely money equals happiness. If you don't have the money to go to treatment, then you're probably going to die. And that's going to make you really unhappy. Or I should say make your family really unhappy. You're going to be dead. But the thing is, money does make happiness because it buys you time with that person. It gives you treatment. It gives them a better experience. Maybe they get a single room in the hospital rather than having to have a roommate. Maybe you guys can take some side trips while you're at the hospital. Maybe it gets them the best doctor at the best hospital, and therefore the best chance at surviving. So my point is, guys, you've probably also heard the phrase that, I'm paraphrasing here, but something like, I'd rather, I'd rather cry in a Corvette or something like that. And that's absolutely true. I mean, I'm sure there are people who have everything they could ever want as far as money and are not happy with it. I'm absolutely sure that that's true, and I think that's where people are getting that sour grapes idea of money doesn't equal happiness. But I think that's such a small number of people that are in that situation that for most people, money really would make you happy. I'm not saying you need $1 million, but, like me, if we're just counting my base salary and not my separate jobs, I make like $30,000, $31,000 a year, okay? Well, I still struggle a little bit financially because of that. But if I made like $75,000 a year, I'd be at a level where to me, it seemed like I had so much money I wouldn't know what to do with it. And I would be happy. I wouldn't ever have to think about how to save up money for something, or whether I'd be without a car, or whether I'm going to have to wait to go to the doctor, or something like that. I think that in our culture, especially America, our system is set up so that we all believe that we can become the rich, powerful people in the country someday. And while there is some truth to that, it's not quite as possible, I think, as most people think. And because we think that way, we think, oh, well, I don't need money to make... I don't have the money right now, so I don't need money to make me happy. And someday, I'm going to have that money. And I may not be happy then. Maybe I'm missing somebody, or maybe I can't find a partner, or, maybe I have a child that dies. My point in saying all this is that I feel like if you're coming from the top of the economic ladder and you're looking down and you're saying, I'm not happy, giving you money, that's not going to make you happy. But then you have the people that came from the bottom like I did, where we're like, I see very few instances in which money could not make me happy. And I think that's why, if you guys have ever read Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and by the way, this is not a sponsored video, it's just a book I've read, but he actually talks in there about how everyone needs to have the experience of being completely broke. Because to him, that is where you get desperate, and that's where good business plans come from, and entrepreneurial spirit. And I'm sure that's how I got it. But also, that works in this scenario that I'm talking about too. If you have a time period like that, then I think that you can see the value in money. And no, maybe it won't do directly what you want. Maybe you can't change somebody's feelings about you. Maybe you can't, but it can change your feelings about yourself. And it can make you a lot less miserable than you would have been if you didn't have money. So guys, like I said, I know this is a controversial video. I know a lot of you are not going to agree with me, and that's okay. We've all had our own experiences. It doesn't mean I'm wrong, because I'm right in my own experience. Next week, I'm going to have a story time video for you guys that actually should be really entertaining. It's kind of provocative, but it's along the lines of genealogy. So you guys, a lot of you are here from my genealogy videos. I think you're going to like it. It'll be a pretty short video, but should be pretty interesting. Remember, every third Sunday, I put out a financial video. Between those times, I might put out a couple extra videos. I've got one planned for hopefully later this week. And my other videos are mostly story time and anything that I find interesting. So if you guys think you'd like that, go ahead and hit subscribe down below. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you don't like the video, go ahead and thumbs it down. That's fine. But leave me a comment too and let me know what you didn't like about it. So until next week, or until the next video, I'm going to sign off. Please hit subscribe below, and I do appreciate everything that you guys have done as far as giving me so many views, and I've had a lot of subscribers recently. I do really appreciate that, especially to you super fans out there. So thank you for the guys that comment, or the should say guys and ladies, who comment on all of my videos. I really do appreciate it, and I like the interaction we have. So, guys, I'm out. Hit subscribe below, and I will see you later in the week.